Hi guys, and welcome to Premier Prediction Week 31, and we start with the Watford versus West Bromwich Albion midweek action. As I said, we spoke about West Brom a couple of weeks ago, saying they'll be in massive confidence, obviously beating Arsenal just before the international break, and then I did predict that right, saying that they would draw at Manchester United as well, so their confidence is quite high at the moment. I think they'll find Watford a little bit harder, as Watford's, as we spoke about, they can defend, and even though they haven't been that good at defending this year, they'll be different to like Arsenal and Watford. They won't be all guns blazing out and leaving space to the back as much as your Arsenal's and your Man U's would. But I still expect West Bromwich Albion to win this game, so I'm going to go Watford 1, West Bromwich Albion 2. We then have Burnley versus Stoke, obviously two teams around the bottom. I think Burnley sit about 18th or 19th in the table. Stoke are about 16th, 15th in the table. So I'm going to go for Burnley 1, Stoke 1 in this one. But as again, we spoke about Burnley, they don't make things easy. And you might have expected them to might have put me down to win, considering they're at home. But I just fancy a draw in this game, to be honest with you. So, I've gone for 1-1. We then have Leicester versus Sunderland, and obviously I spoke about Leicester, saying they've been a completely different team since Claudio Ranieri got sacked, and it's against Sunderland. I do fancy Sunderland to score, maybe Jermaine Defoe, but I expect Leicester to win this quite comfortably. Actually, I'm going to go Leicester 3, Sunderland 1, and the 8 o'clock kick-off for tonight is Manchester United versus Everton. I thought Everton were rather poor actually against Liverpool on Saturday. The defending was poor. They didn't really attack the ball. They didn't really work Lukaku much. So you would have thought that Ronald Koeman would have possibly worked on that the last couple of days, and you'd expect them to maybe have a good response. Even though it's at Old Trafford, it's going to be fierce. It's as bad as being Man U Liverpool, isn't it? Really, the Man U Everton. So it's going to be a fierce crowd. And you'd expect Everton to be up for this one, even though you'd probably expected them to be up for the Merseyside derby on Saturday. I just thought they were lacking something. I don't know if it was confidence or, I don't know what it was. Fitness maybe. They were just like really, really, really poor. As I said, they didn't look like they'd trained within a week. But hadn't I said that, like I did say to you on Friday, we have just come off an international break, and going away from home in a Merseyside derby was even harder. So maybe that was it. So maybe they've had a bit more time to train the last couple of days. Probably would have came in Sunday afternoon and did a bit of training. So I'm not sure. I just think that they'll have a good response for tonight against Manchester United. I did call that right against West Bromwich Albion, saying Man United would draw. I didn't watch the game, so I can't tell you if Man United were poor or West Bromwich Albion were poor or they defended well. I couldn't tell you, but I'm going to go for another draw. I'm going to go Man U 1, Everton 1. Right, now we go to Wednesday's fixtures, and we start with Swansea versus Tottenham again. Swansea down the bottom, struggling for goals at the moment. They're probably going to tip to go down. To be honest, I'd say if you asked me who I think would go down at this stage of the season, I would go. I'd go Sunderland, Middlesbrough, and I would say Swansea as well. There's just something that Burnley, Hull, and that are offering me a little bit more to think that they'll get it. I think they'll get themselves out of trouble. But Swansea hasn't really offered much this season. Obviously Sunderland, they can score goals, but I don't think they're going to have the great escape this year. And Middlesbrough, obviously, I've been saying for ages, and I thought that they were doing well. But when I checked the table, and then that they were 19th and they hadn't scored in ages and they hadn't won a game in ages, I thought, they're going to struggle. I think. So that would be my bottom three to go down at the moment. Would be Sunderland, Middlesbrough, and Swansea in that order as well, by the way. But going to the game, it's against Tottenham. I personally don't think there's a title race, even though Chelsea lost on the weekend. I still think Chelsea's won the title, but I think you'd probably say that Tottenham are the closest, to being in that title challenge, as the table doesn't lie. So I'm going to go Swansea 0, Spurs 2. We then have Arsenal versus West Ham. Really, really, really funny game on Sunday between Arsenal and Manchester City. It was kind of like you have a shot, we have a shot, we score, you score. It was one of those kind of games, but it wasn't an entertaining game, to be honest. It was a bit dull, and it was a bit this is a bit boring and nothing really to play for, because let's be honest, Manchester City, on their terms, they're thinking, well, we're out of the title race, and top four is nothing for us, to be honest. So yeah, I'm quite bored towards the end of the season, to be honest. Arsenal, on the other hand, don't think we're going to get top four. Some fans like myself are just fed up of getting fourth and third, second anyway. We're just, we're fed up of it, and we don't even compete in the Champions League. The protests are going on. There was fighting outside the grounds on Sunday. Someone having a go at Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV, absolutely ridiculous, saying that Arsenal Fan TV is the problem. I don't see how. They're not the ones that put the boots on. They're not the ones that give the team talk. So I don't know how that can be the problem. But yeah, it was just a funny game, on Sunday between Arsenal and Manchester City. It was just, I just can't. I'm finding it really hard to get up for Arsenal games now because we've got nothing really else to play for now. Again, West Ham are going to make it hard. We're at home. West Ham are going to make it hard. I can't see us keeping a clean sheet. But I've gone Arsenal to nick it. I'm going to go Arsenal 2, West Ham 1. Whether that's any good towards our end of the season, I doubt it because, as I say, I'm not really interested in top four. Can't win the Premier League. So it was 19 points, by the way. 19 points. Well, it's 18 now, actually, because Chelsea lost and we drew. So it's 18 points, but 18 points, you know what I mean? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I said to you on Friday night, and someone commented in the comment section below to sign a petition. I did sign that petition. Got to get Wenger out. We need fresh ideas, and we just need new everything now. But for that game, I am going to go Arsenal 2, West Ham 1. But not really bothered, to say the truth. We then have Hull versus Middlesbrough. Again, two teams down the bottom. I've just said, Middlesbrough struggling for goals. Hull have improved since Marcus Silva took over, but I'm going to go for a draw in this game. I'm going to go Hull 0, Middlesbrough 0. We then have Southampton versus Crystal Palace, and even though Crystal Palace confidence will be riding high at the moment, as they did beat Chelsea on the weekend. But Southampton's a completely different game, and I think Southampton are going to win this game quite comfortably. I'm going to go Southampton 3, Crystal Palace 1. And then the 2 8 o'clock kickoffs, we have Liverpool versus Bournemouth. Do you remember the last time they played each other? Yeah, I'm not going to go for that score again, but I am going to go for a lively game. I'm going to go Liverpool 2, Bournemouth 2. I don't think Liverpool did anything particularly special on the weekend against Everton, but they were just the better side. And obviously the result cleared that up for us. They were just the better side, but they didn't actually do anything special. They didn't actually get out of second gear or third gear. Do you know what I mean? It was just, we'll get into. They didn't get out of first gear, should I say? They were just better on. They were just better on the day. So that was it. That was it for me. But again, completely different team. I think Bournemouth will be up for it, and they do make things hard. So I'm going to go Liverpool 2, Bournemouth 2. And then to finish off the midweek action, we have Chelsea versus Manchester City. I think Chelsea will be a little bit cautious after they just lost to Crystal Palace. Manchester City will be cautious as they've just conceded 2 sloppy goals to Arsenal, and they were sloppy goals, to be honest. Well, the first one was a very sloppy goal from Walcott. The second one was just a free header from Mustafi, and it was awful defending on their behalf. So again, they're going to be cautious as well. They've been terrible at the back all season, so I think both teams are going to be cautious. So that sums up for me a Chelsea 1, Manchester City 1, which plays right into Chelsea's hands, to be honest. So that has been my predictions for the midweek action, guys, and I will see you Friday for the weekend's predictions. Thank you for watching, guys.